Hi, I'm Drew.
I'm Scott.
Welcome to Everyman's Whiskey.
Today's episode, we're playing the classics.
Drinking the classics?
Yeah,
Okay.
drinking the classics.
Today on Everyman's Whiskey, we're going to Jim Beam.
How have we not done Jim Beam yet? This is episode 14?
Yeah.
I feel like this should have been like episode 3
Well,
for Everyman's Whiskey.
it's one of those things, that it's kind of taken for granted. And so we're finally getting to it. Yeah. So today we're going to be sampling the Jim Beam White Label, the Jim Beam Double Oaked, the Jim Beam Black Extra Aged, and
Which you clearly know a lot about.
yeah.
Expert.
I haven't tried any of them but the original.
Same.
And then the Jim Beam Single Barrel before I was rudely interrupted.
We've got a lot to learn about Jim Beam. Excited to share some facts. Excited to talk about the appearance, the nose, the taste, and the value.
Mm-hmm.
And give some suggestions at the end.
Yeah, definitely. So let's get started. For our first tasting today, we're going to the Jim Beam White Label.
Jim Beam's old, though it's got to start way back in 1795, which, by the way, was like 3 years after Kentucky even became a state. It didn't really become Jim Beam until 1943. Before that, it was primarily known as Old Tub.
Okay.
Because people, they didn't bottle it. They would bring their own jugs and have them filled up at the distillery and take them back. So
That's
kind of
fun.
your jug, Old Tub.
I wish that they would still do that. That'd be a fun little,
A little more. It seems like pretty green.
Sure.
Save the earth.
Yeah. I mean, you go to a brewery and you can fill up
growler.
your container, so why not go to a distillery and maybe not 64 ounces, but, just saying.
Maybe with the Jim Beam. Just the big handle of it.
Sure. All right.
Okay, what do we...
So we got Jim Beam. It's Jim Beam. Let's go to the next one.
Yep.
All right, for our first real tasting, we're going to the Jim Beam Double Oaked, Twice Barreled.
Never had this one before. The Beam family, there's a ton of history with Jim Beam, so these facts are going to be a little like history-based because there's such a rich history to it.
I love facts.
So, good. They're from Germany, and when they first came over as German settlers, the U.S. government was offering incentives for people to move west, and so they did. They were corn farmers.
Okay.
At the time, they had really a lot of German, Irish, Scottish folks that were creating whiskey from rye, but being a corn farmer, used the excess corn to do this recipe.
Sure.
And made a sweeter whiskey that we now know and cherish as bourbon.
I like it.
There you go. He had like 12 kids. So plenty of help on the farm.
That's a lot.
Smart on his part.
So, this one is it's a nice, really pretty amber color on the nose. Getting some leather, some oak.
Cinnamon?
Yeah, into some...
A little bit?
Yep, a little bit. I'm liking it. Okay, going in for the first sip. It's vanilla, some oak, maybe a hint of cherry.
I would have expected more oak with the name being double oaked.
That's fair. Yeah.
But it tasted kind of like a classic whiskey would. There's nothing too significantly different from
Right.
a standard bourbon.
It is simple. This bottle is $17.
Oh, yeah, that's
So
great price.
right. So but it is simple. It doesn't have
The
that
first one was about
complexity.
15?
Yeah.
Okay, so not much difference price-wise.
Right. Yeah.
And certainly more flavor than the regular, but,
Mm-hmm.
which we didn't really take a chance to cherish or
No.
savor.
Yeah. So has a pretty long finish on it.
Not too much bite. Overall, quality pretty standard.
Mm-hmm.
A little basic.
Yep. Let's go on to the next one. So for our next tasting, we're going to the Jim Beam Black Extra Age Bourbon.
Cannot wait. So Jacob Beam started this with his family, and when he passed it on to his son David was only 18 when he kind of took over, and 20 I think when he was officially running operations. But he really had the spirit of like the Industrial Revolution, and he's known as kind of the genius of the Beam family that really expanded and helped spread distribution. He was using steamboats and railways to get it all across the eastern half of the country, and I think is the reason that it's on the map today.
Nice.
David Beam.
God bless his steamboats.
Yeah.
It's a nice dark amber. It's a really pretty color, so I'm liking that. On the nose, get some vanilla, some oak, some apple.
There is apple.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah, the apple is nice.
The extra aging, I bet, pulls out that apple, Drew.
Sure.
Does that sound legit?
You can say that.
Okay, I just did.
Good job. I'm proud of you. All right, so for the taste.
That is interesting.
It's a lot more complex than
It's kind of
the other
like
two.
thin. It's not syrupy,
Right.
which is weird because it's aged longer.
Mm-hmm. It's got some good flavors to it. I'm really liking this. I'm surprised.
Plenty of vanilla, plenty of spices, plenty of wood, oak. The front end's really interesting. It's got a good finish.
Mm-hmm.
What are you tasting flavor-wise?
Man, caramel just hits you right in the mouth. So,
As opposed to...
no, it's like, it's like being punched.
It's powerful, yeah.
Instead of a subtle...
It punches you right in the mouth.
Yeah, it punches you right in the mouth.
I'm going for sip 3.
Okay,
This
fair
is
enough.
delightful.
Yeah, the vanilla and the oak are also very strong, very present. It's this is a really good one.
Very unique is the word I would use. It's quite different from both the first samples we had.
Mm-hmm. On the finish, you get oak, some char, some vanilla. It's long. It's nice. Everything you'd want in a bourbon.
Dang good.
For our last tasting today, we're going to the Jim Beam Single Barrel. Scott, I got to tell you, I'm really hoping that this is going to be like the Jack Daniel Single Barrel.
That was
phenomenal.
shock. That blew our minds.
Yeah.
The last one was really good that we just tasted.
It was, yeah. But, that's what I'm hoping out of this.
Yeah.
So,
although the Jim Beam is still managed by the family, like 7th generation, ultimately it's owned by Beam Suntory, which I think this is our 3rd Beam Suntory offering we've tried. They're based in Chicago, but as we've shared before, they are ultimately owned by a Japanese subsidiary, and featured in the movie Lost in Translation, Bill Murray's favorite line. For relaxing time, make it Suntory time. Have you seen the movie?
no, I haven't seen
So
the movie.
good.
Okay, I'll check it out.
Beam Suntory.
Beam Suntory. All right, so back to Single Barrel. On the nose.
Wait, you didn't tell me how pretty the color was.
Oh, yeah. It is a pretty color. It's lighter than the last one.
You get excited about the colors.
I
More than most.
That's fair. So it's a mild amber color.
Okay.
And on the nose, a lot of apple. A lot of rye.
Some spice, some vanilla.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of typical there.
Yeah, getting some good stuff. All right, let's go for the sip. A little bit harsher on the first sip. The rye, it's a little
Up front.
up
But then
front.
it settles down. There's some good flavor going on.
Yeah, it's a brown sugar.
Mm-hmm. You probably aren't going to like this because of the rye.
Yeah, it's
rye heavy.
That rye up front really just kind of bites you.
I like it. If you like rye, it's a good one. And again, single barrel, so it's going to vary. But
yeah, definitely.
I think it's pretty dang good.
So, hint of apple as well. A lot of rye spice, though. What do you think?
Finish?
On the finish, I'm getting...
Hangs around a little bit. Caramel, vanilla. I always say caramel, vanilla.
Well,
but that's what I get.
Yeah.
It's bourbon.
Yeah. So, and still getting, besides the caramel and vanilla, still getting a lot of the rye spice on the finish.
Solid.
This bottle is about $30.
So not a huge investment.
Right. Yeah. So, there you go. So, Scott.
Drew?
Jim Beam.
We had the true Jim Beam experience. And
it was surprisingly good. So, I will say, this one's 15, 17, 25, and 30.
All a great value.
All, yeah, technically a lower end bourbon.
Certainly price-wise.
So we'll just start at the beginning, okay?
Number one bourbon in the world right there?
Number one bourbon in the world.
Not good enough for Drew.
Not.
Me.
If you're going for a mixer bourbon, then spend the extra $2. Grab this guy. It had a lot better flavors, more bold. It was better.
Even for a mixer, I agree.
Yeah.
It just would add a little bit more flavor to that with that Coke or ginger ale or whatever you're drinking with it.
Yeah, and that $2 price difference.
Yeah, it's worth it.
Yeah, definitely. All right. This one is my personal favorite of the four.
Spoiler alert.
Well, that's what we're doing here.
And I thought you would finish with that one.
Oh, well, I was trying to go in
fair.
order. Okay.
Spoiler alert, my favorite too, black.
Okay. Yeah. At $25 is really tasty. It was great bourbon. This one...
You're going to hate because it's rye forward.
Yeah.
I like rye. I think if you enjoy rye, that one is certainly worth trying. It's really good. It's $5 more than...
Right.
Right? So
Yeah.
$30?
Yeah, this one's
It's
30.
a good rye whiskey.
Yeah. It's not technically a rye whiskey.
Sorry,
but
I should have said that.
The flavors are rye
It's more,
forward.
more rye pronounced.
Yeah.
But still, my favorite is the black label for sure.
Yeah.
It had a lot going on.
Overall, I was impressed with Jim Beam.
Good all
considering
around.
that I've only tried the white label before tonight.
Yep. Good episode, great value, and good experience.
Yeah. So thanks for joining us today on Everyman's Whiskey.
As always, please be sure to share, subscribe, like, comment below. If there's one of these you've had you disagree, let us know.
Yeah.
We want to hear it.
Definitely.
And ring that bell.
And remember, quality over quantity.
Drink responsibly.
Hey, buddy.
Is that right?
Your stomach is so loud.
I gotta check something.
There's actually rumblings on the microphone over here. Like,
That's fantastic.
Shut up. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Hey, let's do this.
Yeah.
Let's Drew this.
Yeah.